Hello, my name is Joanne Raghunathan, or you can call me Jo for short, and I am the Communications and Community Engagement Specialist at the Oregon Council on Developmental Disabilities. This is the new Council Member Orientation Learning Module video series. This video series has 3 modules. The first module is about OCDD. The second module is about the DD Act. And the third module is about how we build our budget. These videos are intended for new council members who are onboarding onto our council. I will begin with module 1, and I look forward to seeing all of our new council members at our onboarding and orientation meeting coming soon. And I just want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to all our new members on your recent appointment. We're excited to have you on our council. So let's get started. Okay, so this is module 1 of 3, and it's titled About OCDD. So who are we? So in talking about who we are, let's begin by talking about our council members. 60% of our council members are people with intellectual or developmental disabilities, or IDD for short, and family members. On the left, we have pictures of Kelly McCauley, our council chair. Kelly is a self-advocate, and Dr. Jennifer Lubke, our vice chair. Dr. Jennifer Lubke also goes by Dr. J for short, and Dr. J is also a family member. On the right side, we have on the top a picture of our council members at a quarterly council meeting. This was back in June 2025. And below, we have 2 of our council members, Kelly McCauley and Eddie Plurd, as they unveiled the 2025 DD Awareness poster. Okay, so then our other members, the remaining 40%, are state agency representatives and community partners who provide services to people with IDD. We have our 3 required federally mandated DD network partners. So those are the Protection and Advocacy Organization representative, who is the Disability Rights Oregon. And then we have our 2 University Centers for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, also called UCEDs. And those are the University of Oregon, or U of O for short, and Oregon Health and Science University, or OHSU for short. And then we have state agency representatives, and those include a representative from vocational rehabilitation, representatives from the Oregon Department of Human Services, or ODHS for short, and those are a representative from the Office of Developmental Disabilities, also called ODDS, and Aging and People with Disabilities. And then we also have a representative from the Oregon Department of Education, Oregon Health Authority, and Maternal and Child Health. And then we have community partner reps. We have DD services providers, Oregon community brokerages, and representatives from Community Development Disability Program. We also have 5 staff members. We have our Executive Director, Brent Watkins, Public Policy Director, Matt Sears, our Advocacy and Leadership Development Coordinator, Hannah Baker, our Operations Administrator, Kate Thompson, and I am Joanne Raghunathan, the Communications and Community Engagement Specialist. You can learn more about the staff by scanning the QR code on this screen. We also have our staff bios in the new Council Member Handbook, which you will receive with this video. Council structure. The Council is governed by 2 people, the Chair and Vice Chair. The Chair leads all Council and Executive Committee meetings. They work with the Executive Director to prepare the agenda for council meetings and executive committee meetings. They call special meetings as needed, and they appoint and work with committee chairs. The vice chair serves as chair during meetings when the chair is absent. They serve on the executive committee, and they perform other tasks assigned by the chair. The executive committee is made up of the chair, vice chair, executive director, committee chairs, and one member at large. They meet at least quarterly. They provide direction to the executive director. They support the chair and the executive director to prepare agendas and materials for council meetings. And they speak and make decisions for the council when the whole group can't meet in time. OCDD committees. We have standing committees and ad hoc committees, or sometimes we call them work groups. Our standing committees meet quarterly, 2 weeks before our full council meeting. And these are made up of different members within our council. Within our bylaws, we require that all council members serve on at least one committee. And we space these out throughout the day, 2 weeks before our full council meetings, so that if you would like to serve on more than one committee, you are able to attend multiple meetings in the same day. The committees are the Self-Advocate Committee, the Family Committee, the Public Policy Committee, the 5-Year Plan and Annual Plan Committee, the Budget Committee, and the Executive Director Annual Evaluation and Recruitment Committee. And just to go back to the 5-Year Plan and Annual Plan Committee for a second, right now we're in the process of finalizing our next 5-year plan. And so the focus of that committee's work right now is about the 5-year plan. But once the plan has been submitted to our funder, which is the Administration for Community Living, that needs to be submitted in August, on August 15th. And once that goes in, we will be into our next plan. And so from there, each time the committee meets, they will be working on our annual plan. So we have our 5-year plan, and then every year within the 5 years, we work on an annual plan. And so the work shifts to the annual plan once the 5-year plan has been established. Our ad hoc committees or work groups are special groups that we form throughout the year when additional work needs to be done that is outside of standing committee work. And these include things like DD Awareness Month and our membership committee. Our membership committee is typically mostly for reviewing applications and interviewing applicants, and those happen on a need-by-need basis. And then the DD Awareness Work Group meets throughout the year with a lot of focus happening, of course, in March, which is DD Awareness Month. But we also like to keep the work going throughout the year. And so we will meet occasionally at other times in the year as well. And those are all voluntary work groups. Okay, so now we will talk about what we do. So what do we do? We uplift the voices of people with lived experience. We listen and learn about the issues that matter most to people with IDD and their families. We grow leaders and provide advocacy and storytelling training. We build strong, cooperative relationships with people with IDD, their families, community partners, and everyone who supports them. We work to inform the public and legislators about the systems and policies that affect people with IDD. And so all of those things that we do really get summed up into one mission statement, which is we advance social and policy change so that people with developmental disabilities, their families, and communities may live, work, play, and learn together. Our vision is that all communities welcome and value people with disabilities and their families. Five-year state plan. I mentioned this earlier when I talked about the 5-year plan committee, and you might have been wondering, well, what is the 5-year state plan? So councils must create a 5-year plan for the state and use their money to carry out that plan. In a nutshell, the plan is the big picture of how the council will do its work over the 5 years. The 5-year state plan also provides direction for how the council spends its money, points out problems in the community or systems that need to be fixed. It lists long-term goals the council aims to reach within 5 years. It includes clear results that the council must report to its funder, the Administration on Community Living, or ACL for short, and they go to the Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, or OIDD for short. The plan must also include a goal or objective to support a statewide self-advocacy organization that is led by self-advocates. As a new council member, you might be asking yourself, what will I do? How will I serve on the council? Member roles and responsibilities. The council operates on the federal fiscal year, or FFY for short, which begins October 1st and ends September 30th of each year. The council currently meets 4 times per year, so on a quarterly schedule, in February, May, August, and November. All council members are expected to attend meetings and serve on at least one committee. Committee meetings, as I mentioned before, are typically 2 weeks before the full council meeting. And so they are usually in the first week of February, May, August, and November. And then our council meetings are typically in the 3rd week of February, May, August, and November. During meetings, members learn about policy issues, hear from guest speakers, and provide input to shape the council's work. The following are ways to participate in meetings. So when you attend a meeting, you can participate in discussions and ask questions. You may vote on action items identified by the executive committee and standing committees as needed. Get to know the other council members and support new members. Request accommodations that can support you to participate as needed. Okay, and so these are some ways to participate outside of meetings. Review and follow the council bylaws. You will be provided a link to our bylaws with this video and with the other materials for your onboarding. And the link is actually on our website. And so you can always go back and bookmark that. And anytime you have a question or you need to, reference something, you can go back and look at the bylaws. And we are in the process of completing the plain language version, and that will be going on our website soon. In the meantime, if you would like to review or ask questions about anything in the bylaws, please feel free to reach out to us, and we are happy to schedule some time to go over that with you. And you can also bring some questions if you have any to your orientation meeting, and we can discuss them there as well. Chances are if you have a question, some of our other new members might have the same question too, so it might be good for them to hear your question. The other things that we ask you to do outside of council meetings are to review your meeting materials ahead of council meetings. And so I send those to our council members at least 1 week in advance, and we ask that you go through them and come to meetings prepared. Our committees also provide a 1-page summary after the committee meetings, and they might have some items that they would like the full council to make a decision or take an action on, like make a vote at the full council meeting. And so please read those summaries and make note of any items that you might need to take an action on, and come prepared to take those actions. And please feel free to reach out to the committee chairs if you have any questions about those things. Also, tell council staff if you have any potential or actual conflicts of interest. So these are financial benefits that are related to being a member of the council. Participate in council-sponsored activities whenever possible. So we have all of our council members on our mail listserv, and I also share a lot of things to our social media. And whenever there's an event that is a sponsored activity that the council is participating in, we will let you know. And whenever possible, if you can attend, a lot of these things will be on Zoom, sometimes they'll be in person. And if it's possible and you are in the area and you would like to be there, it's always great for our council members to be there and to talk about your experiences being a council member. And people just want to hear from you. They want to know about the work that we're doing. And, our council members are a big part of that work. And so it's always great if you can be there for those kinds of activities. And then other things are telling others about your experience about being a council member. So if anybody ever asks, who the council is or what the council does, feel free to share like the work that you do and your experience and why you decided to serve on the council. And then tell us, the staff, if you know of any community partners or leaders that the council can work with to help reach our goals. Okay, so this slide is something that you cannot do as a council member. So do not ask lawmakers to do anything for the council. This is called lobbying, and the council is not allowed to lobby. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that there is a particular policy that you're very interested in, and you would like to reach out to your legislator and tell them that you want them to take action or vote on that policy, yes or no. You can do that on behalf of yourself, and that is okay, and you're right as a constituent within that legislator's district. But you cannot say that you are a member of the council and the council is asking them to take a particular action. Councils cannot lobby, individuals can ask for requests. And so it's just really important that you think about what hat you're wearing when you're reaching out to your legislators. And whenever you do that, you want to be talking to them on behalf of yourself. Wear your personal hat, not your council hat. The council works with legislators in different ways. We educate legislators, we provide neutral information that informs the public about the impacts of policies and how they might impact people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, but we never ask anybody to take a specific action. But remember, you always have the right to do that on behalf of yourself. Okay, so now we're going to talk about appointment terms. We have up to 33 governor-appointed membership seats, and members are appointed for up to 2 4-year terms. Our required agency representatives, so those federally mandated representatives, may serve ongoing terms past those 2 consecutive 4-year terms. And that is because we always have to have somebody in those seats. So if there isn't another agency rep to fill them, then they would just continue on until we could bring in a different agency rep. And then some representatives fit more than one category, but only represent one position on the council. So you may have applied as a family member, but also identify as a person with an intellectual or developmental disability. And you can still, have a voice as both a family member and an individual, but you hold a family member seat because that's how you applied. Some benefits of being a member include developing leadership skills, having a voice to change on issues impacting people with IDD and their families, connect with other advocates around the state, and be part of legislative and policy discussions. You might be asking yourself, what if I need support to fulfill my role? To support you in your role, we offer accommodations and stipends. So we offer accessible materials and meetings, interpretation services, overnight lodging. If you live more than 70 miles away from a meeting location, you are eligible for overnight lodging, travel arrangements, childcare stipends, mileage reimbursement, and participation stipends per day for official council business. What do the staff do? Staff roles and responsibilities. We listen to ideas and concerns about issues affecting the IDD community. We work to find ways to make policy and system changes. So we meet with many different groups to make this happen. We also educate the public and decision makers about policies that impact people with IDD. We share information and resources in a variety of ways across our channels and contacts. And so channels are things like our website, social media, our email listserv, in many different meetings. And also we attend a lot of different events and table at a lot of events and provide information. Those are some examples of what it means when I say channels. Support committees and complete activities in the annual work plan. And we complete the annual program performance report. This is the PPR, and it is something that we are required to do every year in December, and we submit that to our federal funder, the Administration on Community Living. So who are our partners? Who do we work with? We have an interagency agreement with ODHS. So that's the Oregon Department of Human Services. And we sit within ODHS. We have an agreement that talks about how we work together and how they support the council. Examples of things that ODHS provides to the council include human resources, like payroll and hiring staff, invoice and bill pay, and contract and request for proposal drafting. So for example, contracts, I'll go through the ODHS Office of Contracts and Procurement, and we work with them to create solicitations and draft contracts whenever we need to hire a contractor for something. And so that's just an example of one of the departments that we work with really closely at ODHS. Another example is the Office of Developmental Disabilities Services. So earlier in the slides, I mentioned the Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disability, and that is an office within the Administration on Community Living. And so just as a refresher, they are our federal funder. And so this is an office within the ACL. They have what they call the OIDD Network Partners. And so, or DD Network for short. And so we are required to have representation from our DD Network partners. And it's established in the DD Act that these are separate groups or entities from the DD councils. So these DD Network partners are the University Centers on Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, or UCEDs for short, and protection and advocacy organizations. In Oregon, we have two UCEDs, the University of Oregon Center on Human Development and the Oregon Health and Sciences University Child Development and Rehabilitation Center. Our protection and advocacy organization, or PNA, is Disability Rights Oregon. Other ongoing partners include our state self-advocacy organization, the Oregon Self-Advocacy Coalition, or OSAC for short, and the Oregon Consortium of Family Networks, or OCFN for short. So these are 7 family networks that are serving up to more than, I should say, 20 counties across the state. And these include Sammy's Place, also called COAST Network, and that's Communities of All Abilities Succeeding Together. The Arc Lane County, and that includes Families en Conexión. So they are a Spanish-speaking support network within the Arc Lane County support network. And they support Spanish-speaking families within the service areas that the Arc Lane County serves. Families Engaging and Thriving Together, which is also called FEAT, FACT Oregon, Creating Opportunities, Central Oregon Disability Support Network, or CODSN, and Bridging Communities. In your new member handbook, there is more information about all of our partners detailed there, as well as links to the websites and contact information for all of the family networks. And I do encourage you to keep that handbook nearby, so whenever you have a question, you can have it as a quick reference. But I think the other thing that I want to point you to is that we do have information about the family networks on our website, and as well as OSAC, and we encourage you to visit their websites and learn more about them as well. We also work with many other agencies and community partners across the state to achieve common goals. This brings us to the end of our first module, all about OCDD. The next module is titled the DD Act, and we encourage you to go and watch that now.